Hey everybody, it's Chris Kirkpatrick with Life 180, and we are back here to talk about peril number 5 for your 401k. I'm here with my buddy Caleb Williams, and this one is actually probably one of my more passionate topics to talk about, and that has to do with taxation and the fact that people are going to pay more taxes by putting your money in a 401k. Now, I know that sounds a bit contrarian. This is probably one of the most contrarian topics that we're going to get into.
Because most people think the 401k is a tax haven. I've heard it's called a tax shelter.
Yep.
And the reality is this, it's not a tax shelter. In fact, it could be, I'm trying to think of a good word terrible. It's like not sheltering your money at all.
Is what it is.
Yeah, I like that. But yeah, let's get into this because I get passionate about control. This is a lack of control, and taxes could be the number one wealth eroder that you experience in your life.
For
100%.
Sure. Well, almost certainly that's the case. Some taxes you're just not able to avoid, right? But for a lot of people. But here's let me ask a couple questions. First of all, I always like to get into this with people. Is when do you think you're ever going to be in a situation where your taxes are going to be lower than they are today, right? Because most people, if you think about it, if you have kids right now, you have those as a deduction. You know, I would encourage you to think about it from this perspective. If you think your taxes are going to be lower later in your life, that means you haven't set the standards for your life high enough.
Yeah,
totally. Right? I mean, in a way, because if you think you're going to be making less money than you're making today, well, then maybe your taxes will be lower. But that's kind of a depressive life.
If that's your goal, right? If that's your financial goal, then again, I'm not here to judge, but that's again not going and saying like I want to win in the future.
Right.
It's like no,
100%.
I want to live on less money. We're not even going to talk about inflation.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So think about it this way: if you plan on making more as you go through your career towards retirement, right, then your taxes are going to go up. That's period. You're going to go up in tax bracket. If you have kids right now, you have tax deductions that you will never see again once they leave the house. And not only that, let's look at the history of taxes. Can you switch to the computer here really quick? So a lot of people think taxes are really high right now. I know there's a big debate, and I'm not going to get into the political element of things, even though this is one of the reasons it fires me up so much.
Well, and can I?
Go ahead.
I mean, whether it's, I don't know when you're watching this, I don't know who's president, but regardless of the beliefs, we are headed towards a more socialism like increase of tax, like increasing taxes altogether. And so that's one thing that we get fired up about, because whether it's now or whether it's 10 years from now, you have to understand where our country's going, and it's not like we haven't been here before.
100%. And that's the thing, is like people think that taxes can't go up. Yeah, it depends on what side of the spectrum you're on, or I guess the political party line you toe. But like I just wanted to show this because it is not outside of the realm of I guess normalcy that taxes are higher. Now it's not just a clean picture. I mean, there are different marginal rates inside. This is just the top tax bracket on the upper wealthy. Now you can see that, you know, back in the 40s, taxes hit 94% on the top tax bracket. Now that was literally on, I think back then, I don't even know the number, but I think it was on people earning over $1 million or some crazy number. And back then $1 million was like the equivalent of earning God knows what now. Like when you take inflation into account, it's a lot of money. But like if you look at this, I mean, look at this line. If I drew the line at 50% here, right? From 1933 to 1988, 90, something like that, taxes were 50. The top marginal tax rate was 50% or higher, right? So once again, I want to kind of tie in some of the content we brought in some of the earlier videos. When you look at 1979 in this area here, right? That's when interest rates were really high, right? Interest rates were really high. Interest rates were going down as well, right? So when we talk about why the economy is doing what it's doing, you have interest rates going down, pushing money into the market. When you talk about the market doing well, you have new influx of money going into the market, and you also have taxes going down, which is jamming money into the market. So from, you know, interest rates kind of flattened out, and then from this point in the early 2000s, interest rates kind of bottomed out, taxes have bottomed out, and so now we're at this area where everything kind of has to go up. We're $21 trillion, $22 trillion at the time of filming in this video, and it's most likely going to be worse by the time you
go to
usdebtclock.org.
usdebtclock.org.
And it's amazing. You can watch it real time. If you want to be scared and not be able to sleep, go to usdebtclock.org and watch how fast the number is ticking up on the debt that we owe, and that's real time, and it's absolutely scary. But this number, so like the reason we're bringing this up from a historical perspective is just to give you a picture that, you know, taxes have in fact been higher in the past, and they will in fact be higher in the future because
they have to be.
So we have a couple things going on. Even without the political stuff going on, whether you want to talk about whatever socialistic policies or whatever more, I don't like to use the word socialistic because, you know, it's, I mean, it is what it is, but like it's a trigger word for a lot of people.
Right.
And like, so even if you don't want to call it that, the bottom line is you're talking about more social programs by the government to help, and those cost money. So even if you don't talk about that though, like let's just say everything stayed status quo, we're still $22 trillion in debt. And here's the part about that, and this could be a whole different video, but I'm going to talk about it for 20 seconds, I hope. The bottom line when it comes to the debt is that most of the debt that we owe is short-term debt.
Totally.
Right? So to pay for that debt, taxes have to go up.
Because
like right now, that goes back to the interest rates being low. When interest rates go up, the cost to pay for our debt is going to go up with it, and therefore they're going to have to increase the tax base to be able to pay for that alone. That doesn't even count the social programs or the unfunded liabilities and all the different things. So we're in a really, really tumultuous time. Right, when it comes to all this. It's unprecedented, isn't? I mean, it's really bad. So that's just one of those things. So just to kind of just recap that, I guess, is you're never going to be in a lower tax bracket than you are right now, hopefully, because taxes are likely going up. You're hopefully going to make more money. And if you have kids or any kind of dependents or anything of that nature, that's a great tax break that, quite frankly, you know, it is what it is. And if you follow traditional thought, you have your mortgage interest deduction tax break, which if you retire and you don't have that and like whatever, I would encourage you to rethink that all as well. But
so in my book, I talk about two things, threshold and rates. And they both can change. What do I mean is your rate, that's where everyone talks about like, oh, the highest rate, and sometimes was 94%. That means every dollar you made, if you were in the highest tax bracket, you were 94 cents of every dollar was going to the government. But the threshold is how much that money, what puts you in different brackets. And both of those can change. And one, it's interesting, we can get attacked by both angles.
100%.
It's simple for me, the writing's on the wall, whether it's now, whether it's in 10 years, or whether it's the next 20, 30 years, taxes are gonna increase a lot. And we go back to the lack of control. If your money is in an account that you have no control over that, maybe that's what we should talk about, or maybe in the next video, is talking about if your money's in a 401k, you are literally giving up all your money and future growth to an unknown future where it could be a lot uglier.
And in fact, the government is really in control because they control all these policies, right? And so we're going to actually talk about that next video. For this video, I want to say, if this concerns you, or you're thinking about this, or it's like piqued your interest or created curiosity for you on any level, Caleb has this book. It's amazing. I would suggest everybody to read it. You can go to Amazon and get it for $20, or you can click on the link below and actually get it for free. Caleb's paying for it, and you just got to pay for shipping.
That's right.
Right?
I want people to know this message, man.
So it literally just pay shipping, and he will send you that book. You'll even sign it for him, right?
I'll sign it.
Okay, perfect. So just request that, give him your name, and he'll have that when you put the address in and all that stuff for shipping information. So that is what it is. And reach out if you have any questions. They're happy to talk to you. So next video, we're going to get into more on control, and more specifically the government control, which is, you can tell we're getting fired up.
This is going to be an interesting video.
Be on the lookout for the next video. Take care.